What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 shoes for centers. I know I made a top 10 for guards and forwards, but I am a guard slash forward, so I simply haven't tried as many shoes that would come into this category. That's where we're going to talk about the 5 best options. And again, as I've said in the other videos, every shoe can be worn for every position. Just keep that in mind. Let's get straight into it and start with the number 5 on my list, which is the Nike GT Hustle Free. And the reason why they're awesome for centers is because of their incredibly beefed up cushioning setup. We've got 3 different cushioning systems in here. We've got, of course, the most prominent feature. You can see it here through the outsole and here on the side, a Zoom Air setup in a U shape. Then we have Zoom Air Strobel full length, and then on top of that we have a Zoom X drop-in midsole, or just essentially insole. It's not really a drop-in, and they are really one of the most comfortable basketball shoes on the market. They are so high off the ground and there's so much compression in this shoe that the first time I wore them, I actually was sore in my shin area after the muscles that are there, because there was so much my muscles had to compress, which they usually don't, because I usually prefer setups which are very low to the ground in the forefoot. But I'm imagining if you're a really big guy who needs a lot of impact protection, that these will be very nice for your feet. One thing I don't like about them is that the support features are not good enough for this much cushion, in my personal opinion, but again, that really comes down to how you play. If you don't move laterally as much, these will be just fine, and the cushioning will do wonders for your knees and for your back, for example, just because you have so much impact protection. But in my opinion, just the material is a little bit too soft, and they actually also have decent traction performance. I showed you the outsole before. The grip is okay. I wouldn't take them outdoors. I know in my videos here they are on an outdoor court, but that was just the only access I had in that time when I was testing them. But they are not going to be the most durable shoes. While the cushioning would be nice for outdoors, the traction would just not hold up as long, so that's why I wouldn't take these outdoors. At number 4, we have a pair that also was in the forwards video. It's the Nike KD18. Again, also a really comfortable shoe, especially for this video. All of these shoes have really good cushion, and these have an air strobel unit in the heel and Zoom Air in the forefoot. We've got a top-loaded shank plate, which is also great for support. So these are definitely more supportive than the GT Hustle Free in my opinion. A lot of compression in there as well. You can see it on the video too of my cushioning test. And they also have a good traction performance. If you look at the outsole, it's the exact same as on the Nike KD17. In general, this shoe is kind of a little bit of copy and paste. It's actually not a bad thing because the outsole on the 17 worked very well and performed great. If you have a solid rubber outsole, they're also durable enough for outdoors in my opinion. The cushioning setup is perfect for outdoor courts because I like to play with shoes that have even a little bit more impact protection outdoors, especially in the heel area, but also in the forefoot. So these are an awesome option all around. The materials are the biggest switch up here. As you can see, we have kind of a mesh layer here in the forefoot, and just from a top view, if you look at them like this, just from this view, it reminds me a lot of kind of a New Balance sneaker. I know they were inspired by lifestyle shoes that KD used to wear himself, but overall, it's a really nice shoe that has good on-court performance as well. For number 3, we have a pair from 361. I had the Joker 1 GT for guards. Of course, they also work for centers, but in my opinion, the regular Joker 1 is the best option. They are a little bit more supportive, it feels like to me, and the cushioning setup is also very comfortable. Not as bouncy, but slightly better impact protection. You also have an array of really nice colorways. I know that's not the most important thing when it comes to basketball shoes, but it always adds something on top. So here, this is the Patrick colorway. There's also a SpongeBob colorway. I've been thinking about wearing them as a mismatch, and just for performance, the traction performance is actually also really good. Here you can see the pattern a little bit. It's a very weird looking pattern if you take a close look. And at first I had my doubts if it was going to work well, simply because it was very shallow. So I thought maybe not the best for outdoors, but I think now that I've tried them a little bit, the regular version is actually also durable enough for outdoors, and the bite on an indoor court is actually also very good. They have kind of a weird squeak, essentially the whole shoe kind of makes weird sounds while playing with them. I'm going to try to put a clip of that on screen. They're kind of creaking a little bit, like an old door being opened or something like that, or if you're moving around on wooden floors a lot. So if you don't like your shoes to make those type of sounds, maybe stay away from these. I know that's like oddly specific, but it's just something I noticed while testing them out. The materials are actually also very comfortable, well padded. They look like real leather, but 361 confirmed to me, because I asked them, as a vegan, I don't use leather products. I asked them, they all use synthetic leather materials, and they really have a special technique of making them look a lot like leather, and they actually also feel a lot like leather. Maybe a little bit more stiff. They don't break in as quickly. You maybe need 2-3 wears and then they're broken in, nice and comfortable. And these are also one of the most supportive shoes on the market. We've got a huge heel counter here We've got the shank plate, which you can see through this little cutout here in the midsole, or in the outsole actually, and the lacing system really also keeps you locked in. Of course, these are also a high top. Usually high tops don't mean that they have better ankle protection, but in this case, just because the shoe itself is so supportive, these really have great lockdown, great ankle protection as well, or ankle support, and overall one of the most supportive basketball shoes. And now for the last two pairs on this list. At number 2, I have a shoe that I personally also actually dislike a lot, which is the Nike LeBron 22. I really enjoyed the 20. The 21 was also good, but in my opinion, the 20 is still the best of the line. And these are way more like the 19 than the 21 or the 20. Awesome for centers, just not nice for me. I felt that they were very, very clunky, but I think for a really big guy who can move a lot in these because he just has more force in the shoe and who needs that restrictive feeling because it's just so heavy and puts so much impact into his shoes, this will be an awesome performer. We have Zoom air cushioning in the forefoot and in the heel, and air units in both areas. And we have, of course, what I like a lot about them and what I like that they kept, the Nike sphere setup here in the heel. It's kind of like memory foam. So it's a really, really comfortable setup all around with a lot of impact protection, which is going to be great for heavier guys, as I said. For the outsole, it's a decoupled outsole. We have this little thing here in the middle that acts as a shank plate. We also have this swoosh that acts as an outrigger, which makes for great supportive features. Heel corner also very supportive. And if you try to flex them, as you can see, it's very, very hard to flex. And only the forefoot flexes, which makes for great torsional support. For traction performance, as I said, we have this decoupled outsole. And the outsole also kind of reminds me of all the LeBron models. They always had similar patterns like this. We have some triangular patterns, but essentially it's a herringbone type pattern. We've got a little LeBron crown here in the forefoot as well, and his logo here in the heel again. The bite itself is actually very good. They do pick up quite some amounts of dust, so that's maybe not the best thing. And they're also not going to be very, very durable. Of course, I've only tried this colorway with the translucent outsole as I just didn't enjoy them as much. So maybe if there's other colorways, they might work outdoors, but in general, this is more of an indoor shoe. Number 1 on the list is better for outdoors. I mentioned the cushioning setup already, very comfortable, great impact protection throughout the whole shoe, a little bit higher off the ground as well. The materials are all synthetic and surprisingly broken in very quickly and nicely, so they actually are rather soft after you break them in. It's just the overall shoe and the supportive feeling of all these outriggers and shank plates and heel cups that just make this shoe feel a little bit restrictive, or too restrictive for me, because I just can't put as much force into my shoes that I can move properly in them. The lacing system also works well. That's the last thing, and as I said, the materials are nice and padded with Nike sphere in the heel, and especially also like all around the shoe we've got a little bit like layers of padding and comfortness underneath the upper that you can see here from the outside. They are a little bit more expensive as well. In general, most of these shoes here are kinda expensive, so maybe wait until they go on sale. If you're wondering where to cop these, you can find free stores or websites that I have an affiliate partnership with. For one, it's going to be StockX. You can find really any pair, every colorway there. I know sometimes they're more expensive, but they also have a lot of pairs under retail, and if you're looking for a specific pair, they can always be nice to use. You can find the affiliate links in the description box down below. The next website I can recommend is Kicks. They're a retailer from Europe. They only ship to European countries, so if you're in the US, maybe use the StockX website and try to get a pair under retail. You can use the code LUCAS on Kicks for a discount, or just also use the affiliate link down below. And for the last pair, you can go to the official Way of Weight website and use the code LUCAS10. You might have guessed it, number 1 on the list, the Way of Weight 11. This is really an amazing performer. I like the Way of Weight 10 a little bit more. They were number 1 in the best for forwards, and actually Way of Weight finished with 1 second place finish and 2 first place finishes, which is just amazing and just shows how good the brand has become in the past couple of years. A very unique outsole, as you can see. Excellent bite indoors, not as good on dusty courts, picks up a lot of dust. Excellent bite outdoors, also durable enough for outdoors. I was skeptical at first, but they actually are. The cushioning setup is what makes them stand out and what makes them great for bigger guys. Amazing impact protection in the heel, in the forefoot, throughout the whole outsole, and you're still not crazy high off the ground. What is special about the outsole is that it's a carbon core system, what they call it. We have a slab of boom foam, a carbon fiber midfoot shank plate, and another slab of boom foam. So not as bouncy as the Way of Weight 10, but great impact protection. The support features are also amazing. I mentioned the carbon fiber shank plate. Got a big heel counter. The lacing system keeps you locked on top of the footbed, which is always important. And last but not least, the materials are actually also nice and soft. They do need some time time to break in. The fit is also decent for wide footers. I forgot to mention that on the other pairs. The KD18 is definitely also nice for wide footers with a half size up. The Joker 1 is wide foot friendly, and in general, if you're looking for wide foot friendly shoes, I've got a separate video on the best shoes for wide footers, and a lot of the top options of my last 2 videos, so the guards, forwards, and now the centers, are also in that video. With that being said, that's all I have for you today. If you think I missed any shoes, just let me know down below. In general, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and also just comment your thoughts on the algorithm down below. It would really help me out a lot. Have a good one and see you next time.